The Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog has got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code HGP. Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, per usual, is my co-host, Joel Meyer. What are you doing today, Joel?
Very well, very well. After last night's football game, which went as perfectly as I could have imagined. Shame on me for shitting on the name Mac Jones. The guy was absolute beast. Probably his best game as an NFL quarterback, certainly since his first season as a Patriot. He was absolutely dealing it up, despite dealing with a knee injury, which kept getting aggravated throughout. But he's one tough son of a bitch. And yeah, we got the over. We got the 49ers win, which is great for our futures. And we got the plus 8.5, which was sweat-free throughout. The Rams were they self-destructed. Like it was not entirely just the 49ers dominating. The 49ers had several chances to win that game, but kicking issues, fumbling issues kept cropping up and helping us out. So a bit fortunate, but hey, plus 8.5 underdogs. You kind of need that stuff to go your way in order to win straight up, and that's exactly what happened. So love that. That was a hell of a watch. So yeah, let's roll 49ers. Kyle Shanahan still owns Sean McVay, even with the immense injuries on the 49ers side of the ball.
Yeah, I was at the Flyers preseason game last night, downing beers left and right, so wasn't paying attention to that. I get home, I'm like, what happened in the football game? And I'm just going through my apps. I see the 49ers won. Like they're I first was like minus 5.5, moved all the way to minus 8.5, with all those injuries and whatnot, and just the Rams choking it there. I don't know what happened. I'm glad you started with that. And then I also missed out on the great performance by Cam Schlittler. Schlittler. There's L's on both sides of it, which is weird. It's hard to type. It's even harder for me to say. But he had a great performance as the Yankees shut out the Red Sox there. Did you enjoy that game? Did you enjoy the winner take all game 3, Joel?
It was on the side screen, so I wasn't really paying attention. But from what I understand, it was just one elite inning from the Yankees offense, and that's all it took because of Schlittler there doing his thing. 8 innings, I think he played too, just entirely striking out the Red Sox offense. So I had a little bit of money on the Red Sox, but nothing major. So I wasn't too much of a damper on the 49ers stuff. But yeah, it was kind of entertaining, I guess. But yeah, I wasn't really paying attention.
No, I mean, the series should get better now. We go to the NLDS starting tomorrow with Phillies Dodgers. We have Yankees Blue Jays should be good. Mariners, my AL team there is playing the Tigers. That should be good there. Then the championship series, I mean, it's on track to be Yankees Mariners, and then whoever wins the Phillies Dodgers is probably going to the World Series anyway. But
you think Yankees Mariners? I think it's pretty close with them and the Blue Jays. Isn't it a more or less a pick series?
Yankees are favored by a bit, despite being the road team. I was writing some stuff on that today for Sports Illustrated. Yeah, and but it's the teams that have the bye sometimes, like they lose and complain about they had too much time off, but they have such an advantage in the pitching matchup where like the teams that played this week can't use their best pitchers for game 1, have to save them for game 2, and it's a 5-game series. Like it's three quick wins and you move on. So yeah, the Blue Jays are just notorious chokers as well. I mean, it's Toronto, so what else can you expect there from a Toronto team?
Exactly, yeah. So maybe a fun bet on the Yankees. I know most people in America just hate the Yankees, but I don't give a shit about that. I fucking hate Toronto, so
yeah.
So whatever. I'll be a Yankees fan. Fuck it.
Yeah, and you can get all the SGPN picks and podcasts in the SGPN app. Just download that in your app store there. Yeah, not much hockey news yesterday or today, but we made it here. We finally made it. We have just 2 teams today to go over the top teams in each conference, the Washington Capitals and Winnipeg Jets. And the odds makers expect quite the decline from them this season. So we will get into that there. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Season starts next Tuesday. I'll have something up on Monday going live in the afternoon for previewing that, props and whatnot. Joel will be enjoying Canadian Thanksgiving. So that'll be a solo show there, but I'm sure we'll be back plenty.
Get Archer on. Bring
Archer. I'll get somebody on. I'll if Archer's free, I'll get him on. Maybe Dilly can get liquored up or something. We'll see what happens. Who's in the chat? I see this. See, we got Trevor. Trevor's in the chat. I thought Dilly or Archer might be in there, but no. So yeah, we'll have something Monday. Well, us two will be back Tuesday or Wednesday, react and whatnot, because we have a big slate. I think Thursday there's 14 games, none Friday, and then 16 Saturday. So
I already have macro thoughts on the first few games. You can probably imagine where I'm going if you're a longtime listener of the show, based on the past couple of years. But
yeah, maybe we'll touch on the Tuesday games now because we have the odds. Nothing's going to change. We can get your thoughts on that now. But
I got nothing better to do.
Yeah, let's go into these team previews here, starting with the Washington Capitals. Last year, won the Metropolitan Division, surprised everybody. Their over-under was 89.5. They finished with 111 points. Spencer Carberry running away with the Jack Adams, OV passing Wayne Gretzky, all of their offseason bets paying off with Pierre-Luc Dubois, Jacob Chikrin, Logan Thompson, all huge pieces of their season there. And then they get to the playoffs, beat the Canadians in 5, lose to the Hurricanes in 5 as well. So what do you think about the Capitals last year?
Certainly a massive surprise. I didn't think that they had it in them, considering the year before they were a bit of a surprise just even making the playoffs. So I thought that they would regress opposite, not even making the playoffs, but lo and behold, they get it done. A large part of that is just the significant offseason moves by the front office. They're getting in Pierre-Luc Dubois, who really turned the corner. They got some quality performances from their young guys, in particular the Russian guy. What's his name?
Protus. They got his brother now too.
Okay, all right, and Ryan Leonard as well contributed towards the end of the year. And Ovechkin's still playing at elite level, of course. That was the story of the season, him breaking the goal scoring record of all time, and that was a big thing. But no, he was a contributor on both sides of the ice, not being a defensive liability. And how much did he score at the end? Like, it was close to 40 goals.
Yeah, 44 goals despite missing 17 games. I had him for Rocket Richard at a long price early in the season. Then he got hurt. Yeah, I feel like if he didn't get hurt, he would have got it.
He fucking broke his leg in the middle of the year.
Just came
right back. Russian machine don't break, indeed. So it was good to see from a neutral perspective. Kind of killed some bets of mine, but that's okay. A well-deserved win for Spencer Carberry, considering what he's done with this team over 2 years when the Capitals look to be on the same trajectory that the Penguins are on. And Kyle Dubas has not been able to do what who's the GM of the Capitals? I'm blanking on his name now, but he's done a hell of a job in terms of maintaining a
Chris Patrick.
Sure.
I had never heard of him before, so I mean, good for him.
That doesn't sound familiar, but all right, Chris Patrick.
He's the senior VP and GM of the Capitals.
All
Chris
right,
Patrick.
Yeah, he did a hell of a job there getting in those guys to make this team competitive. And you can blame the overall failure of the Metro. The Hurricanes underperformed, Devils underperformed, certainly. Rangers fell off. They didn't even make the playoffs. But still, they got to 111 points. So it was entirely on the back of that team. And, yeah, they had a really strong positive vibe. Like, you could tell those guys were buying into Ovechkin's goal-scoring record, chase, and it just carried into, every facet of their game. So credit to them for doing it. But, of course, they're not at the same level of the top teams, and that's why they only won one game against the Hurricanes in the playoffs. So Waterfind, it's found its level at the end of the day. But, yeah, you can't blame them too much for that, considering where they are in their trajectory. Their prime is well behind them, but the fact that they're almost winning the President's Trophy with this old-ass team and with very little prospect depth coming behind him is very good. Not very little. I shouldn't say that, but compared to the Penguins, who totally sold the farm, the Capitals are in a lot better place.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that feels like they're solidly in like that upper tier, but they're not in that bucket of teams that can win the cup. And I don't even remember how they did it, how they won it in 2018. But yeah, they kept it alive last season. This off season, then didn't really add anybody here. Justin Sourdeef and Declan Chisholm joining the team. Lost quite a few depth pieces. Mangiapane, Taylor Radish, Lars Eller. TJ Oshie, Hunter Shepard, Alexander Alexiev. So largely kept their core intact. Going to be returning with most of the same look, at least on forward.
Yeah, like most teams, just nothing going on in the offseason.
So going into this season here, their point total is at 96.5. Over is -110, under -120, -185 to make the playoffs, +150 to miss, +550 to win the Metro, and 30-1 to win the Stanley Cup. As I was putting this sheet together, I was like, that seems similar to the Leafs. It seems low for them to make the playoffs. They didn't lose anybody in the offseason. Are they going to regress by 20 points? Like I feel like their point total is probably about right. They probably can maybe get to 100 points, but especially in the Metro, it's going to be the Hurricanes and Devils should be two of the three. But I think the Capitals have a good of a chance as anybody in there. And I think the Rangers probably have similar, if not better odds to make the playoffs.
Yeah, we have to mention the elite PDO, very high PDO from the Capitals in their rise, the shooting percentage, the goaltending in particular. Logan Thompson was a borderline Vezina guy for a bit, and Charlie Lindgren, of course, one of the better backups in the league. So yeah, you can understand this massive downgrade, and they've been bet against in terms of their point total. Drifting down 98, 97, 96. Now we're getting juicy unders 96.5, and that's the way I would go myself. I don't expect them to repeat their tremendous performance last year. This is still an older team, and yeah, so I'm definitely going in a negative direction for this team, despite there is an impetus of youth, an injection of youth in this lineup with Connor McMichael, Ryan Leonard, Mirosh. Who the Russian guy? He's not even in the lineup here. He must be hurt. Miroshnichenko, I think his name is. Where the hell is he? He's not even on the injury list.
Did they send him down?
I don't know why. He's a pretty damn good player. But yeah, but it's still an older team. Ovechkin another year older. He's definitely not going to reach 44. Almost certainly. You can never rule out this guy, but that would be a hell of an accomplishment if he got to 40 plus this year as well. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a massive challenge for them to make the playoffs again. So I would be going the opposite direction and lean towards them missing the playoffs instead of making. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge for them to get back to where they were last year, even to get back to the playoffs, I think. So we are definitely fading this team once more. I think last season was a bit of a mirage, but it's still encouraging them going forward because they do have a few quality players coming up through the prospect pipeline.
Yeah, I just can't imagine them completely bottoming out. I didn't realize that Charlie Lindgren wasn't really great last year. I only had an .894 save percentage. But yeah, Logan Thompson, .910. When you have two guys you can rely on there, I imagine Lindgren bounces back. It definitely helps for the regular season. I also like the Capitals defense here. I mean, John Carlson's getting up there, but Rasmus Sandin's okay there on the second pair. Chychrun they have on the third pair with Trevor Van Riemsdyk. I imagine they'll play more than third pair minutes, but they just seem like a solid team, and I don't know who else in the Metro can usurp them there. I guess the Rangers, they're -200 to make the playoffs, but I don't know if the Capitals are going to drop 15-20 points.
They are indeed one of the bigger discrepancies in terms of their point total compared to what they achieved last year. The Predators are the most. Sharks are pretty high up there with their point total. Blackhawks as well. But yeah, what's that, a 15-point difference? Yeah, 111 points last year. So
I definitely wouldn't play the point total. I don't think. I think I'd just take a shot on the playoffs either way.
All right.
So are you going to go with Miss Playoffs then as your bet?
Yeah, no. Yeah, the Metro is still weak. There's going to be 4 units on the under 96.5.
6.5 is minus 120. I think I'm going to do 4 units for that. I am going to do make playoffs at minus 185. Where did that? That's not where I'm trying to get. There we go. Make playoffs minus 185. I'll put 4 units on that. I'm not trying to go half units unless it's under a unit. So between 3 and 4 there, just because the minus 185 is a little bit juicy. There's no real player awards to talk about. I guess maybe Ovi Rocket Richard again. He's 40-1, like something crazy like that.
No, that's not a chance.
No, they're just a good team. They don't have any individuals that could win an award. Maybe Carberry back-to-back Jack Adams.
No,
that rarely happens. So nothing for the single individual awards there. Okay, we are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. Okay, we are going to our final team here, the President's Trophy winners from last season, the Winnipeg Jets. How did they fare last season compared to their over-under? They finished with 116 points. Their over-under was 96.5, so another huge overachiever there based off the preseason. Obviously, a big reason for that was Connor Hellebuck. 2.00 goals against average, 925 save percentage. Eric Comrie too, though, 914 save percentage, 2 shutouts as the backup. Just dominant stuff there in net from the Jets. Kyle Connor, 41 goals, 97 points. Scheifele, 87 points. Ehlers, almost a point per game, despite missing some time. Josh Morrissey leading the way on defense. So kind of more of what we expect from the Jets. We thought it may have been different in the playoffs, and came back late in Game 7 to beat the Blues, and then lost in 6 games to the Stars. What do you think about the Jets last year?
Well, the story of the Jets for the past few years is roaring out to an immensely positive start in the first half of the season, then giving a lot back. And we started to think that this might happen after the Christmas break, the 4 Nations, somewhere in that time where they kind of faltered a little bit, but no. They picked up the slack and they carried the baton right to the end. They did not give away too much to the pack. The Avalanche and the Stars didn't really do them any danger towards the end of the season, so they didn't really have to buckle in too hard. But credit to them, they comfortably won the division, comfortably won the President's Trophy at the end of the day. But once again, the playoff performances leave a lot to be desired, in particular from one fraudulent Connor Hellebuck, once again underperforming in the playoffs. The question is it because these guys continue to play him like 55 games a season and he's getting an immense workload, or is it because he's just a terrible guy under pressure? It's probably a mixture of both at this point. It's hard to determine which has more sway at the end of the day, but this team just can't get down in the playoffs. Weak performances from the likes of Nikolai Ehlers, Josh Morrissey. He was not as good in the postseason as he was in the regular season, but the goaltending is really the main story, considering this guy's the Hart winner and he can't win you any games. You have to compensate for your shitty goaltending. and this guy's supposed to be a Hart winner. That's the real story of this team in the playoffs, because if you win the President's Trophy, you should be cruising through the wild card round against the lowly Blues, and then just getting destroyed by the Stars there in the second round. Not even destroyed. I wouldn't say destroyed, but they were leaking so many weak goals that it felt like they were being destroyed. And Hellbuck is certainly a major factor, especially away from home. Like on the road, like he was absolutely dreadful. And that's not what you could expect from a guy who's the Vezina and Hart Trophy winner. So that's the real story for me with the Jets. This guy, he's being paid. He's probably being underpaid considering his regular season performances. But in terms of the playoff performances, when Robert meets the road, you expect the guy to carry your team, and he has been a liability. So yeah, that's the main story for the Jets for me. Just the fact that they have to carry their goaltender, who's supposed to be the backbone of their team. Yeah, and then the fact that Eric Comrie is putting up very good numbers on his own. It tells me that the story is more about the Jets' defensive environment, the way that both the previous coach, Bonus, and now Scott Arniel, they've both been setting up goalies for success, and they haven't been able to achieve that success on their own right in the playoffs. So yeah, defensive environment is there entirely, but the goaltending is still an issue, which shouldn't be the case when the guy is winning a Hart Trophy. So that's the entire story for me.
Yeah, we said yesterday or 2 days ago that the Kings are like the Western Conference version of the Hurricanes, like great regular seasons and fade in the playoffs. The Jets are kind of like that too. Like the Hurricanes, their 5-on-5 skating play doesn't match up in the playoffs, and for the Jets, it's the goaltending. Like it's just the complete opposites there. But similar type vibes. They expected to make the playoffs, are always in it, but can never get over that hump. All right. So the key moves for
we should mention though, I did have a big bet on the Jets to win the first round, and it took what was it, like 2 seconds left?
Oh yeah, there was
game
like
7?
2 seconds. Yeah, someone fanned on the shot. I think Ehlers fanned on the shot and then passed it to Perfetti or something like that. Yeah, it was. They were down by 2 with like less than 2 minutes left. It was crazy. It was crazy.
So they're that close to going out to the Blues, who, to their credit, the Blues were very good towards the end of the season, but still, they should not be losing as President Trophy winners to the 8 seed. And yeah, they required overtime in Game 7 to get through the first round. So yeah, just very underwhelming end of the season for the Jets.
Yeah, and looking at their stats here on Hockey Reference, it says they allowed the fewest goals, 190, but scored the third most goals. I didn't remember the Jets scoring so many, but they scored 275. They had 2 8-goal games, one against the Bruins, one against the Sharks, quite a few 6-goal games. So I guess when they scored a lot, and then when they didn't, they didn't. So for the offseason for the Jets, they lost Nikolai Ehlers, one of the only guys that made it to free agency. Rasmus Kupari, Mason Appleton, Brandon Tanev, Dominic Toninato, and Dylan Coghlan were their subtractions. They brought in Jonathan Taves. He's apparently going to be their second line center. He's, I think, looked good in preseason from what I read. Gustav Nyquist, Tanner Pearson, Cole Koepke, Phil DiGiuseppe, and Walker Durr. So, I mean, Ehlers isn't a huge piece of their offense. Like I think Jonathan Taves is going to be a huge question mark. That their depth at center has been pretty bad down the middle behind Scheifele there, but I feel like it's not a horrible offseason given the fact that they lost Ehlers.
I mean, Ehlers was immense in terms of their the underlying stats. Like he dominated 5-on-5 play. He was pretty good on the power play as well, but the fact that they didn't use him a lot, like he was averaging like 16, 17 minutes a game somehow. A lot like how they've underutilized Cole Perfetti. It's the same kind of thing. So the coaching is a bit suspect in that regard. I don't know why those guys didn't get more game time. considering their qualities. And Jonathan Toews is a big wild card for sure.
While you mentioned him, I'm looking him up. He's already day to day with an undisclosed injury. So
he's
that's
like 37, 38 years old.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely brutal in his last year with the Blackhawks. Now, you could talk about his ayahuasca or whatever the hell he was doing there in India to recuperate from those devastating injuries, or whatever you want to call them, like a disease. Like it was long COVID mixed with something else, some kind of immune disease. So yeah, love this guy. He's a fellow Mennonite. Winnipeg natives, maybe come back home, should do some good for him, but I'm not expecting a lot. They still lack a lot there in that 2C position. I'm not expecting too much from Jonathan Toews. Nobody should, considering his age and what he's gone through. But yeah, if you can at least improve a little bit on his Blackhawk performance, maybe you can get back to that domestic cup level, but I don't see it. I don't expect that to be a massive upgrade. So down the middle there, they're really weak. And on the wings now, they lost replacing Ehlers with Nyquist. So for me, this is just a much weaker forward group.
Yeah, I assumed that they were like up to the cap, and that's why they didn't really do much else this offseason.
Nobody wants to go to Winnipeg.
Well, but they have $4.7 million in cap space. Like, you can get.
There's only so much you can ask of a guy. You got to pay him a lot more money to get to Winnipeg.
You can get. You could have got a third line center, a Jonathan Toews type, in case Toews doesn't work out. I know you got to overpay for Winnipeg, but looking at their cap page, like, a lot of guys were going into their final year. Kyle Connor, Adam Lowry, Gustav Nyquist was a 1-year deal. Toews 1-year deal.
Some of their
defensemen.
You know why the Jets never trade draft picks is because they can actually keep the draft picks. They can't leave.
Well, unless they draft like a college kid, and then college kid just waits them out.
Mm-hmm.
Going into this year for the Jets, their over under is at 97.5. Over is -110. Under is -120. Playoffs -260 to make, +200 to miss. 5-1 to win the division, and 25-1 to win the Stanley Cup. How are you feeling about the Jets this coming season, Joel?
Once again, we are faded them for the division. We're going to get the Avalanche home this time. 5-1 there. That's the price is certainly longer now, but for good reason. Yeah, I don't expect them to do the same thing. Hellebuyck won't be as good. Defensive environment isn't as good. The forward group isn't as good. Power play, I don't think will be quite as good either. They were really good last year. I don't have strong feelings on the under. I just don't think that they're going to repeat as division winners. So, yeah, I mean, if anything, it would be the under 97.5. This is not a good price in the market. There's a lot of 98.5s at better juice. And the Dom's model has them like 101 points. So, not too thrilled to go on a 97.5, but that's the way I would take this, considering the strength of the Central, how much better most of the teams are in this division. It's really just the Avalanche to win the division would be my favorite bet if you take this division in the macro perspective.
Yeah, it's tough to find a team bet for the Jets. Like, the Central is good. I could see them missing the playoffs. I don't know if 2-1 is long enough. You got the Stars, Avs, Wild should make it. Mammoth going to be in the mix. Blues made it last year, but it would take them falling off quite a bit to miss the playoffs there. I feel like 25-1 for the Cup isn't crazy. I don't know if it's going to get much longer than that during the season, or what the best price out there is, but I think my bet is just going to be Connor Hellebuyck for Vezina, because what percent chance do you think Connor Hellebuyck has to win the Vezina this year?
You asked me to put a percentage on it.
What percent? Like 25% maybe?
Vezina, well, he already has this immense pedigree as the best goalie in the league. So what are the odds right now?
The best odds right now are at DraftKings. They're at 4-1.
4-1. Jeez.
I just don't know if anyone can win it 3 times in a row and 4 times in 6 years.
Yeah, it would take nobody else stepping up to the challenge, but
like Dominic Hasek was the last one to win it 3 times in a row, 97, 99. Brodeur won 4 out of 5 years, 03 to 08. Like, Is he that level? I don't think he's that level. But if the Jets win, it's going to be because of him.
I guess. Look, don't ask me for Vesna takes. I'm not a goalie guy. I don't have a read on that market at all. So ask me to put a percentage on Connor Hellebuyck to win the Vesna. Is not a winning proposition.
It's just a lose there. Just putting two of your favorite things there together.
Yes.
But yeah, you were talking about how the Jets always have a hot start to the season. So that made, and I know there's DraftKings has an October future market, team points over under, team most points. And looking at the Jets' October schedule, starts out home games against Dallas and the Kings, two kind of tough games there. Then they go at the Islanders, at the Flyers, versus Nashville, at Calgary, versus Seattle, versus Calgary, versus Utah, at Minnesota, and versus Chicago there.
Wow.
And they're over
cake.
Yeah, their over under is 13.5. There's 11 games there. They have to win 7 of them for that to hit that at -115, 16-1 for the most standing points. I mean, probably better to bet game by game on them, but like there is stuff like this where the market hates them so much, and we know how they come out of the gate sometimes. So maybe that is worth shopping around for the Jets in October.
That's a good find. Don't really have that available at my books, but yeah, for them to win October, the month of October, given that schedule, that seems like a pretty damn good look, considering, like we said, just how strong they are to come out of the gates. It's just how they do in the second half of the season, in the playoffs in particular. So yeah, that's a good look, good find there. But yeah, I'm not gonna argue against that by any means.
No, yeah, I'm gonna try to find somewhere where I can look at everyone's schedule and see if anyone has, like, I think the top teams have easy schedules, but I feel like at the very least over 13.5 points at -115 is a play there.
For sure.
Yeah. But as for the best bet for the season, I'm going back and forth between missed playoffs and Hellebuyck for Vesna, but I feel like looking at their forward lines, like especially if Jonathan Taves isn't playing up to snuff, which I don't think he'll be, I think missed playoffs is a chance there. So I'm going to take missed playoffs for what's up, plus 200. I'll put 2 units on that. I'll put 2 out of 5.
Oh, this is a tough one. I don't really have a strong feelings here, especially given this week number at 97.5 -120. Stanley Cup would be actually pretty good if the Jets were in the East. But the fact that they're in the West, where they got 4 teams who are clearly ahead of them in my eyes, makes that a no-go. Fuck. I don't know. Just one unit under 97.5.
Under 97.5, right?
Just see the bottom fall out.
Yeah.
Just one unit.
-120 for one.
The real fade is just betting Stars or the Avalanche to
win. Yeah, but other teams to win the division, because the Jets are not winning the division, and you can't bet a no that for that anywhere. So, all right, there's our Jets and Capitals bets. Let's throw it to a break here and we'll come back. We're brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats, available for a ton of sports. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with code HGP. That's Underdog Fantasy, code HGP there. Make sure you check out Rhythm, off to a great start in college football and the NFL. You can win weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app when you track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. So use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. All right, I'm looking here through our bets that we started. Started way back in August with the Sharks, Blackhawks. You know, we went from worst team last season to best team, and we started out strong. I had a bunch of 5-unit plays here. This is a spot I would recommend you guys looking on the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there, ring the bell, so you know when we are going live, and like and comment. Let us know what you think there. But going back to the top here, we started out strong with 5 units on all these, but you know, got middling here. Got a few 1 units. Got some long shots in there. But I'm going to sort these by most units to least and see what our favorite bets here are. I mean, consensus here: fading the Sharks under 70.5, fading the Blackhawks under 67.5, Predators under, Sabres under, Penguins under for both of us. There are 5 units again. Your 5 units under the Red Wings. 5 units on. You got 5 units on Demidov Calder. I forgot you did that at plus 200 there. You're also high.
Yeah, more than that in real life.
Okay, yeah, you're high on the Mammoth there at over 92.5 for 5 units. I got the Wild to make the playoffs minus 150 for 5. You have them over their point total at minus 110. You got the Lightning as well, and I got those 5 units on the Maple Leafs where you're fading them. That's where we're going head to head. And any bets here you wanna specifically call out?
Yeah, I mean, Penguins under 78.5, if that's still available, that is my favorite point total of all. That's the one I've staked very heavily on. I think that they should be in the 60s at the end of the day. This is a team that's carried by Crosby, and even Crosby can't carry this team to a 79-point season. So even though like current price is 75.5, 76.5,
75.5 is the best I'm seeing.
Yeah, so we were early on that. But yeah, even then, I love that quite a bit. Sharks have been getting a little bit of love, so you can find some under 71.5 now. I don't understand that. Sure, they had a good offseason, but what do they finish with? Like early 50s last year?
Yeah, they're up to 71.5 at FanDuel there, and the Blackhawks are up to 69.5 here. I think I just saw
both those teams. I would still fade. Don't understand those moves. Yeah, it's just a lot to ask for these bad teams to improve that much. I know the Sharks improved a lot. Blackhawks didn't improve at all. So
Sharks had 52 points. They have to get 20 points better. Like that's not happening. Blackhawks had 61 points. They have to get. I mean, they only have to get 10 points better, but
they didn't get any better. Like I can understand the Sharks a little bit.
Well, I guess the Blackhawks is just okay. Connor Bedard's not gonna regress like he did last season. Like he'll take a step forward. But around maybe they like Spencer Knight too. I was looking at goalie wins over unders last week or something, and Spencer Knight seemed pretty high. But what do I know there? Yeah, fade the bottom of the league because they're just it's the Gavin McKenna draft. Like they should be wanting to lose. They should be selling off every piece they can to get the most lottery balls.
Yes, and watch the Penguins just gobble up the next generational prospect.
Yeah,
who could be better than both Celebrity and Bedard. That's the way he's been playing. Yeah, I love that. Canadians, obviously, Demidov is my favorite award bet. I think that he should be even money to win that award. So anything plus 150 or better is a hammer play. And Mammoth has immense potential to exceed that over 92.5, make the playoffs comfortably. Yeah, of course, we're massive on the Lightning. Okay, we could talk about the buckets. I mentioned the buckets last episode.
Yeah, I'll pull up the Stanley Cup odds while you're talking about that here.
Sure. So the idea is having a handful of teams that you would be very confident in. They have the winner. So you have 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, and you're very sure you have the winner. You can like whittle away at them to find the best odds, find the best entry point. And for myself, I was thinking about that a lot over the past couple of days. And, with the Panthers injury to Barkov, considering they're still 11-1, they're way too short. So I'm fine just knocking them out. It's just the problem is that I only have one team in the East, part of my bucket, and that's the Tampa Bay Lightning. You could toss in the Hurricanes just because of how weak the East is, but I still don't think that they're going to beat the team from the West if they get that far. So Hurricanes to win the East maybe would be a bet, but in terms of my bucket, I would have 4 teams from the West, which would be the Oilers, Knights, Stars, and Avalanche. I don't think any other team are coming out of the West, and the Lightning from the East would be my 5-team bucket. We'll monitor this going forward, see if things change, but I don't think things will change. Of course, we haven't seen a team outside of 20-1 win the Stanley Cup in the salary cap era, other than the Carolina Hurricanes in that odd. Was it a post lockout year, or it might have been lockout year. Anyway, it was a very strange year altogether. But we talk about, oh, it's hockey, anything can happen. You can come from the 8 seed, you can come from the bottom of the league. Yeah, sure. The St. Louis Blues did it, but they had a fucking horrific start to the year. But before the season, they were still in like the 18-1, 20-1 range. They were still a contender to win the Stanley Cup. So these things are worth monitoring. And yeah, so those are the 5 teams that I think win the Stanley Cup this year.
My only one that I might add to that is the Devils. I understand why you don't have them there. They haven't been able to show that they can play playoff style hockey. And Jacob Markstrom is 35, going to be 36 by the time the playoffs roll around. So there would need maybe Jake Allen there. But I feel like the Devils are like Jack Hughes is Hart Trophy potential. Nico Hischier is like Selke potential. Luke Hughes is going to be, have another year if Hamilton stays healthy. If they can make some deadline addition, I feel like they're possibly in that bucket, and I feel like they're not going to get too much longer than 18-1.
I do like that team a lot in the regular season, but playoff style hockey, it just doesn't seem like they had the profile just yet. They need more experience, a little bit more know-how. Yeah, it's just really tough for me to see them beating the Oilers, beating the Knights, these big fucking teams, the Avalanche, sure, the superior version of the Devils, the Stars, of course, who have a superior depth and a lot more experience as well. So the Devils they're in the mix there. 2-3 years, talk to me then. They can win the Stanley Cup, but I'm fine backing them in the regular season. But in terms of the playoffs, I don't think they got the right profile just yet. So yeah, that's why I'm concerned about them. I mean, it's the East though, so if you just get one of those teams in, the Lightning have some injury concerns, something bad happens. I don't know. I just can't really find another Eastern team I'm really willing to back, considering we know we've talked a lot about the Hurricanes, their historical struggles in the playoffs. Of course, another team with a tremendous regular season profile. But when it comes to the playoffs, we've seen how they've struggled against teams with a true know-how pedigree in terms of winning in the postseason. So that's why it's tough. Like we could see a random winner in the East, but at the end of the day, they're going to lose to the West because I think the West is fucking loaded in terms of winning in the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to bet an Eastern team, like Devils are 7-1 to win the East, and what did I say? They were 18-1. They're 15-1 or shorter at most books. Like they're going to be underdogs in the Cup. So like you can just get them at 7-1 for the East, and you really only have to worry about the Panthers or Lightning.
There's another way to play it too. If you find a Western team, you find this Eastern team that you think can go far, because considering there's only the Lightning in their way, and they could certainly hiccup against the likes of the Panthers or even the Leafs, God forbid. You do exact matchup with let's say the Oilers over the Devils. I could certainly see the Oilers just winning against the Devils in a Stanley Cup matchup, and you'll find a lot better odds that way. That's the way I would play it. If you like one of these Eastern teams, just find them to match up against one of these dominant Western Conference teams, and that's the way I would do it.
That's a good way to play it, and then you can brag about having like a 100-1 bet that comes through for you or something like that. That's always a fun one. And yeah, I'm shout out sportsoddhistory.com. They track the odds throughout the season, and like here you can see where teams were, before the season, every month.
Oh, the Blues were 3
before the playoffs.
30-1?
The Blues were 30-1 before the season. They got as high as 100. But yeah, but since then, since the COVID season, like the Panthers 20-1. But
scroll all the way back to the salary cap start.
Canes were 60-1.
60-1. Okay, and Lightning were 25-1 that year. All right. I think that's when the salary cap season started, if not the year before.
Yeah, salary cap was 05-06 because that was
so. Still, you're seeing almost all these teams sub 20-1.
Yeah, like sometimes you get in the teens there. Like I'm surprised the Kings were 12-1 before the season went during their dynasty. Same thing with the Blackhawks. I mean, 7-1 for the last one. But yeah, like you talk about like entry points. Like last year, the Panthers were 9-1 before the season. You could have got plus 850 March 1st. Like the year before, they came down a lot, but also wasn't that the year they like barely made it in? No, that was the year before that. Sorry. So yeah, like the Knights started high, came down, but you could get them again at 14-1. Like unless you have a system where you're betting with somebody and you don't have to pay them until like April, like it's just usually worth it to
You have a
wait
local
and bet on
bookie.
these guys. Yeah, if you have old school, you don't have all these apps. You just got some guy, you got
Yeah, I'll
someone
pay
else.
you. I'll pay
Yeah,
you
I'm
next
all right. That's
June if they
mark
lose.
it down. All right, got you in my book. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other markets you want to talk about in particular? I feel like we haven't done that yet. I feel like maybe we should do a show tomorrow and just talk through like every award, every division, just to get our
It's a
thoughts up.
pretty lousy day in college football in terms of marquee matchups. So I'll be around.
All right. What are your, if we don't do that though, what are your general thoughts on the first opening night games? You got the Blackhawks Panthers, Penguins Rangers, and Avalanche Kings.
I don't be betting too much in terms of sides, but for the past few years, the totals have been way too low. We've been seeing some high scoring games in the first month or two of the season. So once again, Salami's over will be certainly in the books. The overs, I think these 5.5s are ridiculous. Even the Avalanche Kings there. Kings, of course, play low scoring games, but 5.5 is way too low. There's a Bruins Capitals game, I think, on the next day, which is 5.5 and -110. That's the only one that kind of makes sense with that number, but no, I'm loving all these overs. Canadians, Leafs, 5.5. Even considering the way the Leafs play, we're going to see goals there. Flames, Oilers, 6.5 +110. Love these goals. We're going to be fired on the salami all week long. And yeah, just overs. I'm not going to be betting any unders for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, do you remember when did the season start last year? I'm trying to look at opening night 2024. What October 4th, we had Buffalo and the Devils in Prague, but then you had something else there. So I'm thinking here that the 8th on the Tuesday, Blues Kraken, Bruins Panthers was 3-2, 6-4, 5-2 for the opening night there. Next games, you had low scoring game there, but 6-0, 6-0, 6-5, 8-4, like. Yeah, you see a lot of high scoring games here, a lot of very high scoring games. So salami is a great call out there for the start of the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel like the Blackhawks could sneak a win in there against the Panthers without Barkov and Kachuk. But we'll see.
I don't think so. I think the Panthers
probably not. It's banner night. The Panthers are going to want to go out there and show that they can still
-1.5, -112. That's a bet for me.
Race to 4 maybe for the Panthers there in these high scoring games.
Just wait a bit. When the fucking public realizes that Barkov is in the lineup, maybe you get a bit of a better price. But yeah, I don't think the Blackhawks are going to keep that close.
Yeah. I'm surprised Sam Reinhart isn't moving to center for the Panthers. Like he could just slide over, move a winger up, and maybe they'll do that eventually rather than having Rodriguez centering the third line because he takes faceoffs anyway. He's not great at them. He's great defensively. But that could be something to watch out for potential.
They have Lundell and Bennett. Like those guys are 2 top 6 quality centers. So
yeah, I guess that's fine. We'll see what happens there. They should be fine. They'll make the playoffs and then they'll go on a run again. That's just what the Panthers.
Yeah, that's the thing too. When I talk about the bucket, is like, what do I do with the Panthers? It all depends on Barkov because without Barkov, they're not winning another Stanley Cup.
Well, Barkov was at, I think, some like the Heat practice and was telling the coach, like, I'll be back in like 5 or 6 months. I have no doubt Barkov's going to be back for the Panthers' first real playoff series, whether that's round 1 against a good team or round 2 if they match up against like a bad team in the first round.
Damn, could be a foil in our lightning ointment.
Yeah, the Lightning winning another one with Vasi, Kucherov, and Point would be pretty special for them. I feel like that would definitely solidify their dynasty with 3 in 5 years ish. Because you always make fun of them because their 2 cups were in the bubble and then in the year when you had the weird division,
Canada North Division. Yeah, they had to play the Canadians in the Stanley Cup final.
both of those finals were freaking jokes. So yeah, it'll be nice for them to get one in a real season if they can do that.
Right.
Okay, yeah, make sure you stay locked here. Subscribe to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on Apple and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Also subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube. Going to be going live there, which is always up immediately. Sometimes the podcast is up not for another few hours, depending on how lazy I'm feeling. So make sure you check out the YouTube, subscribe. there, and follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. That's where all the episodes are posted as soon as they are published. All right. Anything else here before we close it out?
No, not really. I mean, football, we got a very weak slate in general, both in terms of the game quality and bet volume. So, no, I don't really have much. The Rough Riders were a bet earlier in the week, but I can't really give it out now that it's minus 5.5. Minus 3.5 was definitely a bet, but I'm sorry, I can't get that out there at minus 5.5. I do think they win by a touchdown or more. So if you only want to chase the steam, go for it. But you're a little late to the party.
All right, yeah, I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And I'm Joel Meyer. You'll find me binging South Park, the early seasons, as I continue to be on the mend. God damn, those early seasons were so fucking good. I'm just remembering now.
See ya.